Hello and welcome to Cover 2 TV. It's the AFC West. We're going to be looking at the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. It still doesn't sound right, does it, mate?
I'll say San Diego a couple of times in this, and apologies in advance and warning you, I will probably say San Diego. I'll try my best not to.
So we're going to get straight stuck into it. Listen, I'm going to run through the picks first. This time change it up a little bit. With the 10th pick overall, the Chiefs picked Patrick Mahomes. With the second round pick, the 27th of that round, it was Tanoa Passino. Round 3, pick 22, from the Vikings through the Dolphins, Kareem Hunt, running back. Round 4, pick 33, Jehu Chesson, wide receiver. Round 5, pick 40, 183 overall, Ukeme Elegwe. And round 6, Leon McQuay, the third. Who do you like? What do you dislike?
They've done a draft that doesn't make them better this season. Yeah. It's for the future because Mahomes and Passino are not going to play much this year. They're both projects, so they traded up next year's first, I think, to get Pat Mahomes.
And a third, I think, for this year.
It was a lot to give up, wasn't it? But at the end of the day, if it's your quarterback, then it's worth the price if you think he's the man. I don't. I'm not a huge fan of him. I see the upside, I see the talent, he's got the arm, he's got the if factor. I just don't trust that he won't give the ball away to the other team too much, and I doubt...
He'll be playing though, will he?
It's okay saying we're going to bring a quarterback in and sit him for 2 years. How often does a quarterback come in, sit and play? So you're talking very rarely. So you're talking Aaron Rodgers ages ago, maybe Kaepernick, and he's gone. And now you're talking Mahomes. So is he?
People like Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins did it, but he didn't sit for 2 or 3 years. You know, he was in pretty much handy.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, again, yeah.
He could be going to
Jimmy
the team.
He could, but he hasn't played yet. We don't know what he is. I'm all for it. I get it. I just think it's very rare someone does it, and a few teams are going to try and do it this year. That's what a few teams are going to do, and that's fine. We'll just see how it works. Again, he's got the pair.
I don't know about this because the idea with Dak Prescott wasn't to play him last season either. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he could come in and be absolutely fantastic. He really could. Don't get me wrong. I haven't watched him, and how I see him, I just don't think he's that good. I think the arm is amazing, and some of the throws he makes are amazing, and on the move he's amazing. He doesn't suit that offense at all, so they're going to have to completely redesign how they play. Again, Andy Reid's a master, he'll be able to do that. Mahomes just isn't, again, he's just not for me. A lot of people like him, and I know it's going to be a video on the channel soon. I spoke with Simon Clancy from the BBC, loves him, absolutely loves him, thinks it's great. It's just my opinion on him, to be honest with you, mate. And I say Passino, he's just an athlete. Like we spoke before, he's got the raw tools, he hasn't yet developed how to use them, so he's not going to see the field much. So the Chiefs, the coaching staff and the GM must be really secure in their job. They must feel super safe because they're drafting for 2 years, and also they must think they can win a Super Bowl next year.
Yeah.
Because they haven't done anything really that big to make themselves that much better. And they were a playoff team, and ultimately they got steamrolled by New England. But I don't see what they've done to close that gap. If they face the Patriots in the playoffs, bar Justin Houston, being 100%. I'm not sure they can be that much better, so time will tell on the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I do tend to agree. I disagree about the quarterback thing because I think that's been done over the years.
Okay,
but I've got to agree with you. I think they needed a quarterback to play opposite Marcus Peters. I think they needed a linebacker. I mean, TJ Watt was available. Maybe you were reaching for him at that pick, but for me, they haven't strengthened in the areas where they needed to strengthen. They
obviously don't think they can win with Alex Smith. In a couple of years' time. So maybe they're giving him one more chance this year, and maybe Pat Mahomes plays next year. But this is the second coaching staff who's given up on Alex Smith. So there's obviously something in his game that teams don't like, you know what I mean? And I get it because he's fine, he's not brilliant, is he? They've basically, this draft will be a success or failure based on Pat Mahomes. No one will care about round picks 2 to 50, whatever, if Pat Mahomes is good, and vice versa. Even if they're all good and Pat Mahomes is crap, doesn't matter. It'll always be remembered for that. So this draft does, but it basically hinges on Pat Mahomes being good, and basically, if I say upside, Brett Favre. I've said this a million times. Downside is Johnny Manziel in terms of on the field, not the off the field stuff. He's a good kid. We'll see where he lands.
Look, Andy Reid played opposite Brett Favre for years and years. He knows what type of a quarterback he was. And that. But he also, don't forget that he had Donovan McNabb at the Eagles for a long time. Guy with big arms, centre guy who was a little bit...
Option quarterback, wasn't it?
Completely. So, can he...
He's the man in the...
He's the man in the NFL. He's the offensive coordinator who can get the best out of him. And he's the guy that, when I look at that Chiefs offense, he's the Alex Smith is the guy that doesn't fit Andy Reid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And the rest of the pieces are there.
Yeah.
Whether it's this year, whether it's next year, I'm not 100% sure. I think they've given too much away too soon for this pick, to be perfectly honest with you. I think, you know, we know it's going to be a good quarterback draft next year. To give up a first round and for next season, it seems a little bit strange to me.
They must have loved Pat Mahomes, and also...
You can't fault them for that, Steve. If they like the guy and they go up and get him, fair enough. They've done exactly the same with Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
They've gone up to go and get this guy, and there's nothing wrong with liking a guy, moving up and going and getting the guy that you like.
If I say it, it's all results driven at the end of the day, and I agree. There's no price you can pay for a franchise quarterback. Ask the Colts, no matter what they took when they got Andrew Luck. Fair enough, they got some other good picks there. But if every other one of those picks was rubbish, or they had to give every one of those draft picks away, they wouldn't care because they've got Andrew Luck. And you can say that same for everyone. The Eagles don't really care what they give away for Carson Wentz now because they think he's good. And it's the same with Pat Mahomes. You can't pay too much for it. And I like Kareem Hunt, by the way. I think he's a good pick. They've got a lot of running backs, by the way. They've got a lot of options, haven't they, by the way? So, yeah, I'll be honest, I'm a bit down on the Chiefs draft for now. Time will tell it in 2 or 3 years.
Okay, we'll move on to the Oakland Raiders while they are still actually the Oakland Raiders as well.
Yeah,
I know, it's men. Let's get into this on another show because...
Vegas, baby.
No, you know what I want to talk... I think we should do a show on this and just sort of highlight from the sports that we've grown up with, you know, like how mad this is. And I know it's fine for American teams because they're franchising and stuff, but we should do something that basically says this isn't right. This is not right. Anyway, we'll move on to the Oakland Raiders. Gary and Conley, cornerback, with the first pick, 24th pick of the draft. What do you think of him?
On the field, fine. The question on Gary and Conley is not the field stuff, is it? It's the fact that he's been accused of rape and the process is ongoing now. The Raiders must feel uber confident that he's done nothing wrong. You know, apparently he passed the lie detector test and stuff in the build up to the draft and stuff, and that's fine. You've got to be right. So... I can't say here.
It's a massive risk, though. I mean,
he could be in jail, mate.
From day of filming, it's 4 to 6 weeks before they reckon the case is going to be closed.
He could be in jail. Genuinely, if it goes wrong, he could be in jail. So they must be confident in the kid and that he hasn't done nothing wrong. They must have done their homework. We'll soon find out. If A, they've been duped, and B, if they haven't, if they know what they're on about. Basically, as a player, good player.
Where would he be drafted if it wasn't for that off-field stuff?
He'd have been a first round, and possibly. I mean, that's about the range. I think. Anyway, you know, I think 20 to 32 was where he was going to go anyway. Before that stuff, when that stuff came, I thought
he's dropping.
I thought no one would even touch him, like not even take him. A bit like Lyle Collins a few years ago, where you know he was accused of something and just we'll stay away and we'll get the information and then someone will sign him as a free agent. But obviously the Raiders feel confident in that, and as I can only judge him as a player. He's fine. He's really good for Ohio State.
He's a ball hawk, mate.
Yeah, he's a good. He covers well. He does everything everything he wants to do well, and. They need the cornerback help. At the end of the day, they need the cornerback help because, my word, that was an issue on their team. And I say we'll see how he does. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, he hasn't done anything wrong. No one's to blame, and we move on from there.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. I'm always reminded of Al Davis, just win, baby. Yeah. And this has got a pick of something that Al Davis would have been totally behind because they've got a player that they want, and they've kind of gone, you know what, we want this guy, and this will help us win. And I'm not sure I'm behind it. I'm a little down on it, to be honest, as well.
It just it's a
massive risk.
And it isn't like there wasn't corners available. Kevin King was still on the board. Quincy Wilson was still on the board. There were still players they could have took. They must be competent in their security work and their homework, and time will tell if it pays off.
Okay, we'll move on to the freak, Obi Melifonwu.
Britain's own.
My word, this guy is just... he's an Olympian-style athlete, isn't he? Best 40 from any safety, best vertical leap, best broad jump or whatever it is, broad jump. I mean, he is a specimen of a man. Technique, lacking a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. But he's a first rounder if it's not, but yeah, they'll develop it. They need help against safety and in the middle. There's talk he could have played corner. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, I'm not sure. I think he's probably a safety, to be honest. And listen, the numbers are off the charts. He's an absolute freak athlete. With that set of skills or that physique and all them attributes, you'll find a job for him. Yeah, there'll be something he can do. There was talk he might have been a first round. I thought that was a bit rich. I think middle of the up into the middle of the second round is a good place for him, and Oakland's a good fit for him as well. He's probably going to play sooner rather than later, and he's on a team that's got a really good offense, so it doesn't hinge on the defense as much. You know what I mean? He hasn't gone to a defensive team who rely solely upon that to win, you know what I mean? He can make a few errors because he's got Derek Carr in the offense to kind of bail him out a bit.
This guy's a mismatch though, isn't he?
Oh, I mean,
6'4",
yeah,
safety. I mean, this guy's going to be tough to win the balls against.
He's a modern... If you're going to cover tight ends, you need someone to do it. It's your slot corner. He might do that job, mightn't he? He might just go, they're playing against the big tight end, right, we'll throw him in. So, you know, in division, for example, Travis Kelce's in the division. Who can we cover? Obi.
Exactly.
That could be the thinking behind it.
It looks like a good pick to me. And we move on. Eddie Van der Does, defensive tackle, third pick, 88th of the draft. What do you make of this guy? I mean, he's had his weight issues. He was coming off the back of an ACL a couple of years ago.
So, a few years ago, his tape was good. And then he got the ACL, and then last year he looked like a guy who'd had the ACL. Basically a defensive tackle who hadn't been able to train because he looked a bit fat. And I know I'm saying that in my physique, but he didn't look fit to play. If he can get back to his tape from a couple of seasons ago, yeah, that's a good pick, isn't it?
I think he turned up for the bowl game as well, didn't he? He looked explosive in the bowl game and stuff.
Yeah, he was better. He looked, from reports again, I didn't see much of the ball, so I saw a bit of highlights on it. He was more... He'd lost a bit, he shed a bit of it, which is good. That's the biggest job interview of your life. If you turn up there unfit, there's something amiss. So absolutely, yeah. And again, pass rush, they've got a really good defensive line anyway. If he can come in and add to that in the rotation, then by all means, Jay's a good pick.
And look, it's not on the draft sheets, obviously, but Oakland have got Marshawn Lynch.
They did get Marshawn Lynch, yeah.
And it wasn't even for that much.
It was not. If Marshawn Lynch is Marshawn Lynch, it's an absolute steal, isn't it? We'll see what he can become. And yeah, things looking good in Oakland again, once again, bar, the obvious of the team getting off.
Yeah, there you go. And we'll move on to Denver Broncos, then Garrett Bowles, offensive tackle, first and foremost.
Yeah, absolute no-brainer, mate. Their line held them hostage. They simply couldn't win enough games because that line was so bad. They couldn't run, and they had the two young quarterbacks who were getting the snot kicked out of them, basically. They were just getting beat up, weren't they? So I was surprised they went Bowles first. I personally maybe thought Forrest Lamp was a better player, possibly Ryan Ramczyk, and even Cam Robinson. But yeah, there's no doubt in the fact that, Jared Bowles, if you describe an offensive lineman, Midwest guy, big, massive, see the size, and when he comes out on the stage with his kid, he just looks like an offensive lineman, and they need drastic help. I'm sure he's a day one starter.
He has to be.
He has to be a day one. Probably right tackle, I'm not sure. Probably goes in at right tackle, but they needed it maybe because they couldn't win. They couldn't win with that line. It was holding them hostage.
And then the pick I like actually is the next one. Is the Marcus Walker defensive end. Now I like this pick because it's Joe Wood's new defense, and he's a bit versatile. This guy, he can play 3-4, he can play 4-3. Post Wade Phillips, I'm not 100% they know what they're going to do yet, and this guy gives them a little bit of versatility on it.
And they're playing rotation. They've already got ends, haven't they? It depends on what they do with Von Miller. They've got Shane Ray, so it's adding depth to depth, and they did lose DeMarcus Ware, obviously retired, so Shane Ray becomes the every down starter, and maybe Walker becomes just the Shane Ray role where he gradually comes in. Okay,
I've got two picks I like here as well, by the way. I like D'Angelo Henderson in round 6, and I like Chad Kelly, the quarterback, in the 7th.
Probably the most relevant, Mr. Irrelevant of all time was Chad Kelly. On the field, fine, there's no issues with it. Off the field, he's Johnny Manziel, isn't he? He's got his issues as Chad Kelly. Reportedly,
I don't mind him planning for the future with the late picks. I think there's nothing wrong with that. You've gone in and you've sorted out your main problems early on.
He's the last pick of the draft.
And then you've taken a roll of the dice.
He's the last pick of the draft. It's a throwaway pick, isn't it? And he's got the talent. He shouldn't be the last pick in the draft, talent-wise. We all know why Chad Kelly's well. It's good. He likes the off-field stuff. There's talk at university around Mississippi that players absolutely loved him, coaches couldn't stand him. So he's a young lad's lad, you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
Time to grow.
Go to the Broncos. With that locker room and that environment, you're not going to get that. They're not having it. They won't have it. It simply won't do. And for a 7th round pick, mate, you'll be gone. They'll cut you on the day. So if he can shape up, listen, they've got two young stars, haven't they? They've got Trevor Siemian and they've got Paxton Lynch. It'll be hard for him to see the field, but you never know. Those two haven't absolutely nailed themselves down yet, have they? Who knows? If he can sort his head out, he's talented. He just needs to sort his head out.
Okay, Los Angeles Chargers.
You remember that?
There we go.
Yeah, we remember.
Mike Williams. Now, look, Keenan Allen's played 9 games in 2 seasons.
Yeah. Okay.
They needed a wide receiver, and they went and got a very, very good wide receiver.
Yeah, they've got decent ones anyway, but they never really had a number 1. So they had lots of 2s and 3s, Benjamin, etc. What he is, mate, first and foremost, he's a red zone threat. He's a massive red zone threat. In the passing game, to be fair, if it went into the red zone, it was usually Antonio Gates or Hunter Henry tight ends. You know what I mean? There wasn't really a wide out that you can just throw a fade to and go and get it. That's what Mike Williams is. Bit Des Bryant like in that way. 50-50 balls. The likelihood is he's either catching it or he's stopping. He's not going to give an interception away because he'll just throw the guy on the floor and give a penalty away or knock it down. So I was surprised at the pick, actually. I thought they would go on the defensive side. I thought they might have went safety. There was safety still on the board. Malik Hooker, for example, I thought that's who they'd pick. But if you look at the next two picks, they've gone guard, and they've gone wide receiver first of all. So what does that mean? They think Phil Rivers is getting hit too much, and they think
they've given him options.
Yeah, and they think I think he's thrown more interceptions in the last 2 seasons than anyone else, and he's too good for that. He shouldn't be doing that. So they're going to protect him better, and they're going to give him the big body wide out. He's 30, he's coming to the end of his career now.
But they've backed him this draft. That's important.
I was going to say what they've done. They've said, listen,
he's our guy.
We haven't. There was talk that they might, draft a future quarterback like a few of the other teams done. We saw Nate Peterman get drafted. We saw Josh Dobbs get drafted. So they said San Diego then. Los Angeles didn't do that. So what they've done, they've gone all in on Phil Rivers. We're going to protect you with our 2 guards, so Forrest Lamp and Dan Feeney, both good players. We'll get to them. Oh, and by the way, here's your number 1 wide out option who you can go and throw posts to, go and throw fades to. He's got no excuses anymore, really. There's been lots of injuries. He's been hit a lot, and I love him. I love Phil Rivers, the guy, the whole persona, the character, the player. He's amazing, but he has underperformed for a couple of years now, and there's no more excuses now. You know what I mean? He's got the option. If everyone stays fit, which has been their issue, he's got no excuses now. He's been, the team have gone, you deliver for us, mate.
You're right. And look, we'll talk about Forrest Lamp now. I mean, let me say this, actually. Mike Williams, Forrest Lamp. Some people's boards, Mike Williams was the best receiver in the draft.
Yes, in mine, yeah.
Right. Forrest Lamp, probably arguably the best guard in the draft.
Yeah, probably.
For your first 2 picks to get 2 top draw talents like that, good picks for me.
Yeah, and I didn't think he would be there. What number was it? Sorry, 38. I thought he'd be gone in the first round.
Yeah, like round 1.
And I like Dan Feeney as well, by the way. Tough about Dan Feeney. What number is that? Sorry, 71, 3rd round. Really good player. Solid, big, stocky guy. Playing interior, so he'll play guard if he gets in. So what they've done there, basically, they've guaranteed themselves pretty much a day 1 guard starter. It'll be one of those 2 guys. One of them will win that competition, or at competition, maybe both. And they get on, and like I say, it's all on Phil Rivers now and his arm. Very quickly,
go on.
Round 5, Desmond King. Ball skills, ball hawk, catches everything. Really good value pick. So we'll see how that goes out for them. But yeah, good plan.
I must admit, with so many teams planning for the future this draft, I like what the Chargers have done.
Win now.
But they've gone win now, big time, And I was a little bit surprised about that as well. But you know what?
New city, mate. If you go to LA and you don't win, check what happened to the Rams. No one was turning up.
Yeah, it's a good point.
LA won't like it if you don't win. Go and win now. You've got, you're in the smaller stadium for a few years until you move to the big time, into the new one with the Rams that's built. This is your chance to capture LA. You're fighting with the Rams for that fan base. Vegas is only going to be around the corner in a few years' time. A couple of hours away. The Bay Area, you got San Francisco still. So go and own California. Go and win. And at the moment, they're the best team in LA by far, and it's them in Oakland, isn't it, in California to battle for it. So I wonder if that's come into the decision making.
Yeah, I'd like to hope not.
Okay.
Because I think I'd like to hope that it's just basing it on Phil Rivers.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a talented quarterback. He's been doing it for so long, but I don't like to see teams go success now. And I get the reasons behind it and stuff, but I think you've got to plan for everything all at once, unfortunately. And you know what? I like the picks that they've made, but I do question the strategy.
Okay.
So the division finished, as we know, with the Chiefs out on top. Yeah. Who is your pick to finish the division on top this time around?
My pick this time is Oakland. I thought if Derek Carr got injured, then they'd probably won that division anyway. And then I would go Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos. That would be my order.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders first. I'm going to go Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos.
Yeah, so Super Bowl 2 seasons ago, and we think they're it shows how things change and stuff, isn't it? Yeah, that's the NFL for you. That's the draft for you.
Who wins the draft?
Who had the best draft? LA by far. I think LA had a great draft. They got 3 top players in the first 3 picks, and if Pat Mahomes turns out good in a couple of years' time, I'll stand here and I'll hold my hands up. I'll look like an idiot, and it'll be the best draft you've ever had. It'll be worth giving up all those picks for. I think Kansas City, for a team who didn't win, or who couldn't get past New England, they've done nothing to get. So if they face New England again, why should we expect anything different?
Yeah, no, I think you're right there. But I like the Mahomes pick, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, it's fine, yeah. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, of course we can. That's what it's all about. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like on it, share it with your mates and all that type of stuff. Comment below.
Tell me why I'm wrong on Pat Mahomes.
Tell him why. Just do it. Do it now. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.